All right, everybody, we're working through the radicals chapter here. We're going to solve some radical equations. We're going to do it graphically here. But before we do that, what I want to do here is talk about restrictions on the variables. Now, what I want to do here first, though, is get the radical by itself. So I'm going to multiply that 2 through. And then I'm going to bring those terms over here. So negative 2x plus 1 under the radical is going to equal 2. And if I bring the negative 2 over, that'll be 2 plus 5. Okay? So now the restriction on the variable here is going to be that negative 2x plus 1 has got to be greater than or equal to 0, because you can't take the square root of a negative, so whatever's inside there has to be greater than 0. I would divide by the negative 2, and that's going to change the direction of the sign. However, 0 divided by negative 2 is going to be 0 still. And then I'm going to subtract the 1. So x has got to be less than or equal to negative 1. And then because the range of a radical function is greater than or equal to 0, okay, so in other words, what comes out of a radical sign, what's being produced here should be positive. That means the right-hand side here should be positive 2. So I know that 2x plus 5 must also be greater than or equal to 0. So 2x is greater than or equal to negative 5. X is greater than or equal to negative 5 halves. This is kind of an interesting scenario here, because what I've got here is I know that x has to be greater than or equal to negative 5 halves, but less than or equal to negative 1. Okay, so it's negative 2.5 to negative 1. Now, when I go to my calculator, okay, and I have gone through and I have plotted in here, I've plugged in the left-hand side and the right-hand side, and when I press graph, I see the point of intersection, so I go second trace down to intersect, and I'm going to make sure that my cursor is over so it's in the domain of that second function, and then press enter for the first function, yes, enter for the second function, yes. It's asking me, can I guess, blah, 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 whatever, yes. And I get my answer is negative 1.85, okay? So x is equal to negative 1.85. And it turns out that that is in my anticipated area there, in between those two values. Perfect.